Hey y'all, Monk Joseph here with the Broken Buddha. Got a little bit of a long one today, but I think it's an important topic. Israel ending is not the end. Let me grab my notebook. It's one of those notebook days, so you know it's a long one. This video is not necessarily for everybody, and I'm sure that a lot of people in society don't feel this way, but personally, I grew up in a very not saying religion's a cult, but I grew up in a very cultishly branded version of non-denominational Christianity. Anybody who goes to that church or knows someone who goes to that church is called the cult. We call it the cult in Baltimore, and it's the only one called that. Um, but anyway, a lot of people are taught that like if something were to ever happen to Israel, that it's the end of the world. And that's not. It's just hear me out on this because there's so much wrong with that statement. And I was taught that too. I was taught that I would be alive for the apocalypse and I have to die for what these people believed in. And I am a huge man of faith. Watch my videos. I have my Christian contemplation series. And I'm going to go ahead and jump right in. And just for the record, I'm 13% Jewish and damn proud of it. So if anybody's got a problem with this video, you know where to put it. All right, so let's start with this. Where do we start with this? So Jewish Jews might not even be Jews. Jewish people are not the first people to have that information. It is widely known that the original Yahweh was actually a lesser god of wealth and war to them, but it wasn't their god originally. They inherited it from a group called the Midianites and Kenites. I'm sure I'm saying this all wrong, but you can look it up for yourself. You should always research stuff you see in videos. The closest it came to them was that it was known as a Canaanite lesser god known as El, again of weather and war, and it was picked up through the trade routes. Okay, and again, guys, this is widely accepted and known. So this is not like I'm not reaching here. It's not a conspiracy theory. I'm just telling you what I've studied and researched in these things. I can't remember all these names and stuff. There's times where I can't remember all the ancient names and stuff. So that's why I got my notebook. So there's that. They're not the original people with that information. I'm glad they passed it through time. Like I am super grateful. As you know, I'm reading the Yemenite Midrash right now in the Torah because I needed it to understand parts of the beginning of the version of the Judeo-Christian Bible I'm reading right now. So, um, and again, I'm just really trying to get rid of that dogmatic reaction. I know there's a lot of Christians like my parents that are probably scared to death. And honestly, when it comes to these kind of notes, like I know that my mother has told my stepdad to kill her if there's ever anything apocalyptic or warlike happening here, like on the spot. So I mean, this may actually stop murders. You never know, or murder suicides. All right. So going from there, now let's talk about how many times Israel has already fallen. Since people tend to think that if Temple Mount goes down, it's the end of the world, or if Israel goes away, it's the end of the world. So Israel went down once in 720 BC already, right? Completely destroyed. And it got destroyed again in 587 BC. So that's twice it's already been destroyed. And guess what, guys? We're still here. So let all that go. Furthermore, with the whole if Temple Mount gets destroyed, blah, 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 Temple Mount was destroyed not only in 587 BC, but also in 70 AD, right? And then they talk about, and then there was they started making it a mosque around 7th century AD. So all these so-called apocalyptic things where Yeshua was supposed to come back and bail everybody out who didn't want to take responsibility for their actions, it doesn't exist. Like it's already happened. We're still here. They whoever made up those things because they're not in the Bible, they're wrong. They're wrong. You're wrong. All right. Um, that's really all I have to say about that. I mean, they got their culture from somebody else. It's already been destroyed twice. Temple Mount's already been destroyed twice. Um, let's move on to a concept of like anti-Semitism, right? Because everyone acts like if you say one negative word, if you say the word Jew, you're anti-Semitic. Well, you all need to calm the hell down because none of that's true, right? Um, Personally, I think, if you study the Bible and religion, Moses would be ashamed of Benjamin Netanyahu, would be ashamed to call him his kin. I mean, really, the guy is like a genociding maniac at this point. And I made my notes here that you're not going to like, but I'm going to say them if you think that anybody who says anything wrong about Israel is anti-Semitic. Remember, I'm a proud, partial Jew saying that. So, like I said, you know where to put it. It's not anti-Semitic if they're genociding murderers. I'm sorry, but like if you want to say something negative about a genociding murderer, I believe that's always been like an acceptable thing. You should have hope for everyone, but that's just a reality of what's happening right now. I would even go as far as to say, are they the new Nazis? Because there's a lot of cowardly behavior watching this next version Holocaust. But just because it's happening to Palestinians, it's not like a genocide or a next Holocaust. Like, I mean, it is what it is. And if you don't want to be looked at as the next Nazis, well, then stop genociding people. I think it's that simple, and you should see it as that simple. And to be honest, I actually feel really sorry for a lot of the people in the country of Israel right now, because if you know what's going on over there, they're not happy with it either, because they understand what Benjamin Netanyahu's doing is disgusting, and nobody wants to see that kind of crap. I mean, the guy is just a freaking maniac as far as I'm concerned. You know, it's very unfortunate what happened to your countrymen, but that's because he failed. You don't got to go kill 10,000 people because you failed, Ben. You know what I'm saying? Get your life together. So there it is. I am proud of my little bit of Jewish heritage that I do have. I love studying my Jewish culture, but those are the realities of that culture and what's happening right now, and why it's acceptable to perceive it however you want to, right? Now, saying that any race deserves to die, yeah, that's wrong. I don't care what race it is, and it shouldn't be specialized to one group. But that's my rant on why Israel ending is not the end. And I hope this helps whoever is in a position like my parents, who are probably terrified out of their minds right now. All right. So thanks for stopping by. That's the end of my rant. And yeah, peace and blessings.